and welcome to Relationships. Today's topic is the origin of relationships. I have with me today psychologist LaShun Franklin. She has over 15 years of both adult therapy, individual therapy, family therapy, child therapy. We're gonna be kicking this subject back and forth today. But to start it off, my opinion about the origin of relationships, going back to the beginning, really stems from, in my opinion, from your childhood, based off of the people you grew up around, the situations you were in, the experiences that you had. Family plays a very big role in how you carry on today, believe it or not, from a employee to employer relationship, from a marriage to a dating relationship, and just social, how you hang out with your boys, how you hang out with your girls, what you accept, what you don't accept, how you act in different situations. You'll often find out goes back to your childhood and the things that we find in ourselves that we don't like, that we know we need to improve on. We might find we need to pull off a few layers from our childhood and deal with those things. LaShun, in your practice and the things that you deal with, am I somewhat close about issues that develop family being a large key of that growing up?
Absolutely, because family is your first contact with relationships. That is your initial, from birth, delivery room, and on. There is a concept of relationships. Who is my caretaker? Who can I trust to feed me? Who can I trust to change me? Who cuddles me? Who touches me? And relationship begins right after birth, actually even before birth. You know, how your mom carries you, the environmental situation in which your mom, carried you for those 9 months. Plays a huge part in your personality and relationship. Like
it forms your emotional identity.
Absolutely.
Wow, amazing. What I find that I hear most when we take our senses and our polls, we find women complain about all the things women complain about a man, and all the things that men complain about a woman. Reminds me of what we were talking about before, that rap song, She Get It From Her Mama.
Right.
M-A-M-A, mama. And which is the same thing for the male. How true is that?
Very true. It's about how you're socialized. Children are born male or female, but they're socialized within a certain context. I have a friend now, she didn't want her girl to have all pink. So she bought her mostly blue, and she lets her play with trucks and toys because she didn't want her socialized as the prissy little, come Cinderella, come and sweep me off my feet attitude. She desired for her daughter to be independent. I can play with toys, I can play with dolls, I can cross any culture, and that was her theory as a mom. I don't want my daughter socialized like a little girl and to feel helpless and needy. But it's about how we're socialized, who raises you, what is the context of their relationships, who do you watch in relationships to you, mother, father, if you're raised with grandparents, elderly grandparents, if you're raised mostly around women or mostly around men, it starts to form your identity and who you identify with.
Let me ask you this. In general society, in general relationships, dealing with general issues, what are some of the general topics that you deal with coming through the door that we all, have problems with and need to,
The most common one is feeling misunderstood.
Really?
Nobody understands me. Nobody understands what I'm going through. Seeking a solace in, I need a place where I can just be me. I'm tired of perping. I'm tired of, you know, putting on the mask. You know, I just want to be me. I want to be myself. And that's then, to me, especially in one-on-one, when a person, any adult, single or married, comes in alone, usually that's the issue. You know, I'm tired of living the life the way I'm living. I need to learn a different way because I'm not happy.
Wow. Now, do the person ever find, and tell me, what is that? I don't feel understood. I need a place where I can just be me. What kind of advice you give them?
Find out who you are, because we are, once again, we're socialized from the crib. You know.
How do they find out who they are?
Well, they have to re-explore some things, you know, the things that you like. I'll never forget, you know, just personally, you know, finding out when I was like about 27, 28 years old, that, you know, I grew up thinking that I was more scientific, analytical, you know, just, I like the CSI type deal, you know, this is what I'm going to do. I like to dig deep. And I was teaching at a high school, counseling at a high school at the time, and we had an in-service, and you know, they did this personality test, and one of the instructions from the facilitator was to, okay, put all preconceived notions aside, what people expect of you. We don't want that in this. We don't want what you feel people expect of you, or what, you know, just answer first thing that comes to your mind. Okay. Let's do it.
Okay.
And so he started asking some questions. He said, answer them quick. If you think too much about them, just skip them, because then you're involving your rationale to it. And then I really found out something about myself that day. It was like, I am a little bit more spontaneous than what I thought I was. But my situation growing up determined that I needed to plan more. I needed to be a little bit more adaptable to situations, because you never knew what the climate was going to be, you know. So I felt that this was what was expected of me, but not what I really wanted. And that's where some of the unhappiness, you know, growing up, you know, or in relationships or whatever came from, because it was always like, I have to figure out what this person wants from me first before I can relax.
I see.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that conflict, that caused a huge conflict within myself, because it was like, well, who am I for real? I thought I was this, you know, smart, just live by the book, live by the rules, live by a daily planner, on time, every time. And actually, what I had put away from me, because it was not tolerated in my environment, was the spontaneity, the ability to laugh, the ability to really have fun like a kid, you know. And I realized that about myself that day, and so I went on a journey. I began my journey, like, I started reading books. So if my personality type is not ENTJ, what is it really? And I had elements, I mean, we all have elements of different personalities depending on the environment, but it was very, very powerful, because it made me look for whoever the real me was. And basically what it was scrapping everything.
Throwing out what you thought, preconceived.
I knew, who cares what people think and what they think I should be, what they think I should be doing, and finding out something different. So I really started experimenting with some stuff, you know, art, music. I just started experimenting, exposing myself to different things that were not expected.
And that's true, because if we kind of go back in our mind, it's almost as if we don't sometimes get a chance to find out who we are and explore the things that we like, because coming out, as you say, the womb, the family try to mold us in their way. Going to school, that molds you. Going to church, either you this denomination, that denomination, that molds you. And then seemingly you on this track of life where I need to be a people pleaser. And that is one of the most miserable places to be. I've been there before. You know, people got all these high expectations of you, so then you come out saying, I gotta achieve this, I gotta do this.
Absolutely.
You know, so you find yourself a people pleaser and stressed out. And you know what? You have to stop and think to yourself. And this, to me, I'm not a psychologist, but this is my experience. And when I broke that, you know, out of my life, I stopped and I said one day, you know what? Here I am feeling stressed out about this. I could have named it A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And all those people whom I aim to please through my work performance, through this and that, where are they?